Okay, so now that we're finished with the day's work and we're going to, we've dirtied up our airbrush, we're going to get to cleaning it. So there's a multitude of different ways you can clean an airbrush. With a water-based paint, it is nice and easy. You can just spray it into a spray-out pot like this one. So this is our SparMax one. I want to make a very similar product. Let's unbox this and I'll show you how it works. Comes in a nice little storage case. It's a nice glass pot. And there's all your bits and pieces. So you got spare filters that go into the cap there. And these are all your holders, and it does have a spare little holder there. So this one sits on the top for your airbrush, and this one sits at the base, like that. So when you screw it onto the lid, it can't roll over or tip, so it's actually braced onto the table there and supported very nicely. And then the airbrush will sit nicely into there. Alright, so now the cleaning process, once we've got a dirty airbrush, obviously you need to clean out the rest of the paint that's still in there. So you situate your airbrush in the holder like that. Just pull back until it's... Alright, so nothing else is coming out, it's empty, but you've still got to clean it out. So just use a little spray out bottle, spray some in the cup. Spray out most of the paint. So we just use water for the very first flush, and you'll see why. Right. That's got the bulk of the paint out, right? You can maybe give it another go on the edges if you need of the cup. You see there's still pigment in there. Okay. So from there what I like to do is just alternate between the airbrush cleaner. Now this is a water-based paint, so then I can use water-based cleaner. If you are using a lacquer base or solvent base, you will need to use the right cleaning product to suit. So I like to spray a little bit in the cup. This does get a little bit messy, that's why I have some paper towel underneath. But the overspray is all contained in the pot. Paper towel on the edges. Okay, so most of the cup is clean, but what we'll find is there may have been some paint at the back of the needle. So we'll loosen that off, pull that through. It's actually quite clean. So I like to spray some water down the back of the airbrush. Now you will get some water just dripping out here, but you'll notice that that's actually sent some more paint into the cup. So without the needle in place, the airbrush does work as a single action. So if you'll see, without the needle in, just pushing down, fluid actually comes out. So we'll place that back in. We'll check one more time, making sure there's no paint still trapped in the airbrush. See, that's gotten a lot cleaner right now. Okay, so another trick you can do to purge any trapped paint and pigment in there is you can cover the air cap, forcing the air to actually be pushed back in. So you can see it bubbling up, and then we just clean it again. Alright, so as a basic end of day use or change between colours, that's all I would say is necessary for cleaning of the airbrush. Just delicately put the needle back in, tighten it up, make sure it seats properly, and as a test you can just spray some water back in. Done. We also have a messy air cap. Okay, so that's just a basic clean of the airbrush on the Eclipse. So at the end of each day, that's probably significant enough to get it clean for future use. I would recommend that if you are only changing colours, perhaps from a light to dark, you don't need to do as deep of a clean, but that would suffice for end of day use, packing away, or between say a black to a white again or something.